He's running, of course, the Mitsubishi Starion, the type of car that dominated. Kevin runs for Rally Art, which is the Mitsubishi supported group that, in effect, supports motor racing and is the motor sporting arm of Mitsubishi in this country. A good move, and certainly a good man in Kevin Bartlett to have leading the fray and managing it for them. Alongside him, another Mitsubishi, but a Cordia, a smaller vehicle from the Japanese stable. John Phillips, the driver, and I think a few of the drivers are looking to next year when they put these smaller Mitsubishis in, and the Cordias have done so well. There is a 20-lap final, by the way, later in the day, and that's when it really counts. That's when the prize money is paid and the points are given. This is just to determine starting positions virtually for the final, but it's still a very important event for them. Phillips alongside then. So it's two Mitsubishis, a big one and the little one, and on the second row, a couple of interesting cars. Ian Burrell in the Cordia 55, the almost psychedelic or Technicolor car, and alongside him, and partly obscured by the start-finish line, one of the great men of Australian motor racing, Colin Bond, in the factory-supported Alfetta. Colin would love to finish the season, not as winner of the series, because he can't do that, but as the winner of this race. And you can expect a great effort. Well, I'll throw it down to Stephen on the starting line with Kevin Bartlett, because he looks like he's freezing to death.
Kev, is it that cold?
Oh, it's not too bad out here, mate.
No, you should try it out here. The Mitsubishi's having a field day. I suppose this heat, you'd like things to continue that way.
Well, I look around, it's wall-to-wall Mitsubishi. Cordias as well as Starions.
They'd be very pleased.
Oh, happy indeed, yeah, sure.
Well, we hope to have a chat to you a little later in the afternoon.
Great, I hope so too.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you, Stephen. Kevin Bartlett, of course, won Bathurst way back, 1974 with John Goss. 10 years ago, he'd like to score up another notable victory here today. On the third row of the grid, we have the Falcon of Peter Dane and the BMW of Bruce Linton, so other makes have to be content with being a bit further back. Gary Walden, the Mazda RX-7, Lyndon Arnell in a Starion, Mark Pickett in a Fairmont. Back there, that's Mark's car. Alongside him, Ken Price in the Cordia. Barry Jones making a welcome return to the motor racing scene in the Starion. Peter Granger in a Cordia. Ross Burbage as they go off in their warm-up lap in an Alfa Sud, a small car giving away a lot of size. Phil Alexander in the Lacer, who has done best of the small car drivers in the series, amassing more points in his category. Joe Beninka, one of the sensations of this class of racing, particularly in some of his Sydney performances in an Alfa Sud. Alan Fender in a Starion. Mark Gibbs in the Commodore, and from the back of the grid, through not having recorded a practice time, Jim Fanico in the Starion. Worth watching car 60 because Fanico has won these events. He was disqualified having won one once, but at least he's got the form to be up front, so you can expect the Starion driver Jim Fanico from the tail of the field to go very quickly. Colin Bond going through in the beautiful Alfetta GT. That's Bruce Linton in the BMW.
The Cordias have made a sensational entry, Evan. They haven't been around terribly long, and I think the feeling was that they had a lot of development work to do, but obviously yesterday's wet practice was a big help to them.
They're quick cars. They give away 200 cc's to the Starion, but of course they're much lighter. They are a very high-performing car. Mitsubishi certainly are going the turbocharged path. They're not the biggest turbocharging company in Japan. Nissan has that honour. They build more turbos than anyone else, but Mitsubishi seem totally devoted to it, and I suspect you'll see turbos in any car that they make in a few years' time.
I'm told by someone who claims to know such things that they make more turbocharger units themselves than anyone else in Japan, which I can neither confirm nor deny, but it sounds good.
Well, they're a big engineering company and they might sell them to the others. Okay, 10 laps is the distance of this race. It's the Heat 2 of the Bob Jane T-March Australian Super Series. Kevin Bartlett in car 66 in the Starion on pole position. One of the most popular as well as most talented drivers in Australia. Car 49, John Phillips, much less well known in the Cordia alongside him. Colin Bond behind. Watch Colin in car 7. Oh, Kevin Bartlett had a poor start. Colin Bond made a great start if he can just get by Phillips. But Phillips is blocking his path a little bit. Colin trying to force away on the outside, can't do it. He's going for the inside now. He's trying to be the ham in the sandwich. He's got the line. If he can just squeeze Phillips out, he can't do it. He's in second spot. Kevin Bartlett back there in third. There are a lot of cars leaning on each other, and Colin Bond was leaned on, and Colin forced that wide, controlled it beautifully. He's starting there from the tail of the field. Kevin Bartlett forced terribly wide there. That's Phillips who's gone through on the inside. There are cars everywhere. The track's a certain width. The cars are sprayed across a much wider section of Calder. And it's Phillips who will lead. What a sensational start. Colin Bond now, who was muscled out right at the back. Kevin Bartlett's got up there to be in contention. He's gone to the lead now. And it's Mitsubishi side by side right after him. It'll be Bartlett who'll be through first.
Quite serious,
That's a Starion off as well. That's the BF Goodrich sign on the back suggests that it's Barry Jones.
I was going to make the comment about racing for sheep stations, but the amount of prize money in this series they virtually are. It certainly made them a lot more serious about winning.
Kevin Bartlett has the lead. The field fanning across the track. Someone's going to visit the grass here. I've never seen such wide lines taken. A lot of foxing going on. Right at the back of the field, 88, Mark Pickett, who got caught up in that incident that put Colin Bond off the track. A lot of cars lost a lot of time, but Kevin Bartlett, who was outgunned at the start and was third into the first bend, came out in the lead, and that's where he is at the moment, and he doesn't want to surrender that position.
He's in a fairly handsome lead for such a short time, and I think the way he's looking, he's going to remain unchallenged from the look of things at the moment.
Colin Bond has recovered from being last after that first bend shove to being 12th. Now that means he's up more than one third of the way through the field, and his way back. There are cars going everywhere there. On the grass today is not the fast line. Here's Colin Bond just coming out passing the Falcon down the straight. The Falcon should be as quick as he, but Colin hasn't wound up a bit more, and away he goes, and the glorious works Alfetta. Well, Bond's got a lot of cars to get by. That's him there, and he's got it's wall-to-wall cars in front of him, which is going to make it terribly hard for Colin Bond. And up in front, Kevin Bartlett will be smiling from one end of the crash out to another. Bond is now 10th. He's picked up 2 more places. You can just see the nose, striped nose in the back there as we follow Kevin Bartlett through the bends.
Big thing in Kevin's favour at the moment. Anyone that wants to attack him has got to jump over 2 or 3 cars behind him, and he's
really going everywhere. That's Gary Walden in the Mazda RX-7. Once you get onto the grass and the mud, you've got to slow down because there is absolutely no grip out there. So you must stay on the track. It's one thing to be quick, but just put one tyre on the outside and that's it. You're in trouble. Well, that was a magnificent recovery by Colin Bond when he got pushed up and spun. He went right round, decided to go the whole way and brought it back in the right direction. That's him out there on the inner line, picking up cars as he goes, and Colin Bond is making a magnificent race of this. Pushed into last place at the start of the heat. He knows that this heat will determine the starting order for the final, and he wants to be up towards the front when the race starts. He probably can't win it. He's up to 6th place, picked off another 4 cars on that lap. It's a 10-lap race. They've covered 3 laps, so Bond is in with a chance of a major placing. A sensational drive by him. Car 14 going through there. At the moment is Peter Dane in the Falcon. It's a big car here. It's Bartlett from Dane, who's up in 2nd place.
He's doing very well, even. Not very often we see the Falcons in these positions. He's obviously learned something, and a lot of these people have been allowed to use limited slip diffs, and I'm not quite sure whether the Falcon is one of them, but it's whatever the reason, all of a sudden he's become competitive.
He's up into 2nd spot, which is certainly the best ever by a Falcon in this series. Kevin Bartlett first, then Peter Dane 2nd. Ian Burrell, I think, is in next place in Concordia, car 55. Then car 49 is next, which is John Phillips, who started from the front row of the grid. He's back there in 4th place. And then in 5th spot, it's car number 44, which is Lyndon Arnell in the Starion, and then Colin Bond. You might see the striped nose of the Alpha pull out there and try and pass a car or two. You can see him coming in the group. Now he's got a bit of a way to go to catch up with Phillips. This is Bond. Here's Bond. He'll be up in 5th place now. He's knocked off 1 more car. That's just sensational driving. Agree, John Shepard?
Yes, he's a master of the art, as you were making the point before, Evan. He drives in all different categories of racing and usually is highly successful in all of one of our top competitors.
Well, bear in mind, he was pushed off on that first corner in a chaotic scramble. Not Colin's fault. The car started to spin. He had the sense to let go the whole way, did a full 360, got it back in the right direction, got back in the traffic. He was at the tail of the field, didn't lose his composure, and just set about whittling down in the field. This is a superb drive by Colin Bond. Head bent forward so characteristically, right up on the tails of these cars. There's a Cordia there. Phillips, he says, OK, I'll get you on the way down here. There are a couple of Cordias there. Ian Burrell there as well. And Colin's waiting for the braking. He'll try and go on the inside of the less experienced John Phillips. In the meantime, anyway, he's no room there because they're going sideways. Yes, he got him just on the inside of the front. He says, thank you, I'm here. Just give me the line if you don't mind. Phillips says, if you want it, you'll have to take it. Colin takes it, and still in the front. Kevin Bartlett having the occasional glance in his rear vision mirror to see what's going on. That's how they are after lap 5. They have another 5 laps to go, so at the halfway mark, that's how they are. Dane still coming 2nd in the Falcon, which is a great effort. And then Mitsubishi, and Alfa Romeo.
I think, Evan, that's the sort of thing you see with a bloke like Colin Bond. If they have an incident like that, they regain their composure straight away. There's none of this business of taking 10 laps to get smoothed out and
Up into third place too, John. He's now in third spot, having just demoted the two courtiers of Phillips and Burrell. They're trying hard to keep with him, but Bond's underway and off he goes now. The second place is in sight. It's the Big Falcon of Peter Dane. He says, right, you're a long way away, but I've got myself another 3.5, 4 laps and I can do it. The two courtiers hanging on tight. They're driving well. They are desperately close to each other. Look at them swing out there. It's Phillips and Burrell having a great old battle for courtiers. Bond is in fact 5.2 seconds behind the leader, Kevin Bartlett. I don't think it's possible he can make up that sort of ground. He'll have a real battle to pick up the second car just inside there. Dane in the Falcon. Bond is after him in the Alpha. How would he have gone if he hadn't been involved in that first lap spin?
He's got a very badly mud-spattered windscreen too, Cole, which I suppose was a product of being slithering around out in the dirt there.
You can see it there, yes. Colin, of course, has rallied so long he probably feels at home.
Yeah, I think he probably enjoyed it out there. If it hadn't been a race, he would have thought that was terrific.
4.8 seconds. He's made up 0.4 of a second on Kevin Bartlett in the lead. Not quite enough to take back the lead, but maybe enough to pick up second spot. Here's the man he has to get, Peter Dane in the Falcon, but Dane's going very well. And Bond will have to be smooth and fast. Can't afford to put a wheel on the wrong line. He's just nibbling away 0.1 of a second now, trying to pick up second spot. He needs a good position in this race to get a high place on the grid for the start of the 20-lap final. Dane goes a little wide. Bond doesn't go so wide. The courtier coming behind goes pretty wide, as you can see, as Phillips puts the wheel well out. 2 laps to go. Well, Bond certainly picking up on Dane. Does he have enough race left to really overhaul this man for second spot? Bond reckoned he has. He's got about 1.5 laps to go. He's got to catch him, then he's got to get by him. European Alpha versus Australian Falcon, both great cars in their own right. There goes the Japanese turbocharged Mitsubishi of Kevin Bartlett. He should have the race in his grasp. The car's good enough. Kevin is certainly good enough to ensure that he retains the lead. The real battle then is for second spot. Peter Dane doing marvels in the Big Falcon, holding on to second place, but he's got Colin Bond behind, and there isn't a better driver in Australia, so he's got a great man trying to catch him. About equal in pace down the straight. A lot will depend on braking. They're the leading 3, so it's not much of a race, as you can see, with 1 lap to go. Kevin Bartlett pulling out to overtake one of the smaller cars. Here's the battle for second spot. This is the last lap. I think it's going to be too much for Colin Bond. Kevin Bartlett just squeezing by Phil Alexander in the Lacer that is leading the category for small cars in this event. There's our leader.
There's very little in that second to third gap at the moment too, which is interesting. As you say, there's only a half a lap to go, so whether Bond can pull something out of that.
I don't think he can. Let's wait and see. Here comes Alexander. We're following the leader through. But it's very close to the second spot between Bond and Dane. Alexander just being lapped by them. Kevin Bartlett, though, now it has the checkered flag virtually inside the man with the here comes the battle. Bond is coming right on the tail. We'll watch them, I think, as the picture broadens out. I don't think Bond can do it, but gee, he's going to go close.
Nothing in it, but that's a very good finishing place for a Falcon. We haven't seen him finish that high in one of these races before, in my recollection.
Kevin Bartlett, then, not exactly from start to finish winner, but he led from the first corner on. Second place, and a great second place to Peter Dane in the Falcon, and a magnificent third to Colin Bond. Squeezed out on the first corner, put back to the rear of the field, got up to a very close third place. Well, plenty of excitement in the Bob Jane Team Arch Australian Super Series Heat 2, and there's a 20-lap final to come, and Australian Formula 1 cars as well. They're the placings. Bartlett in the Starion Turbo, Dane in the Falcon, Bond in the Alpha GTV. More action in a moment.